Huzzah! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. It's the BBC Spews Live. It's the 4th of October. Almost got used to doing the date the wrong way around. I mean, I've only been here 10 years. How's everyone doing? Hopefully, two things. The camera looks all right because Ben Dyke said my last one was like a Game Boy camera. So I bought some. I wasn't willing to drop 800 on the one he told me, which is a ridiculous, like a Sony thing. Also looked like it involved a tripod. So I didn't do that, but I did buy the best decent actual webcam that I could buy. And it was like $250. And to be frank, it doesn't seem to look any better to me. Makes me look a bit weird. In fact, that red car behind me is a little bit more blurry than usual. So I don't know. Apparently it's HDR and that makes it slightly better. It doesn't look any better to me. Apparently it also moves. In fact, shall we try it on its own? Does it do it on its own? Yeah, there we go. Look, apparently it gimbals by itself. There you go. Fancy, but no, I think I like the old one. I think I like the old one better. Anyway, that's it. So if I don't look like I'm coming to you via a Game Boy Advance, that's good. And the sound quality's still all right. Yeah. And I've bought a Gucci microphone, but that's not here yet. So 10 year, yeah, about 10 year, about 10 on and off. I spent a year back in Nottingham, but other than that, I've been in the US about 10 years. I'd have to ask my missus the exact date. She knows these things better than me. Anyway, who's Lewis Collins? Let's have a look. Is that him off Inspector Morse? Let's have a look. Lewis Collins. I don't even know who he is. Oh, from The Professionals, right? Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Bodie. Nah, I'm not seeing that. He hasn't got as much of a widow's peak as me. I've always had when I was a kid, my dad called me Eddie Munster because I've always had a widow's peak. The good thing is now I'm getting old and bald. It doesn't look that bad because I've always had a widow's peak, but it was just an inch lower when I was 15. So there you go. But it's weird. I've had proper vampire head since I was a kid. Anyway, how's everyone doing? Who's important? Let's have a quick look. Crikey, we're at 300 odd already. Ambers is in now then. Bill Beebe, thanks for coming. Happy as Spurs won today. It's funny, innit, how they're not allowed to call themselves the Yankee India Delta Army. That's how politically correct we are now. They used to sing it themselves, didn't they? Just Yankee India Delta Army. Not allowed to do that anymore. It's against the rules, apparently, because humour is banned in the great, fantastic new world we've created. Derek's doing all right. How you doing, Derek? Trevor Harris, John Hunter now then. Council State Rach, always a pleasure. Stu, Carl Burton, Richie Westley. Who else? Anyone I haven't just mentioned? Neil Young, now then. Not that Neil Young. Derek, all right. And Richie Errington, back for the crack. Right, well, I'll tell you what, first I'm going to do, I'm going to have a bit of crack about work stuff. Now, I don't normally cover anything work-related, but this thing did irritate me. And it is, again, it's not because I have some sort of allegiance to my boss, but seriously, the reason this stood out to me is because it illustrates how thick people in like leadership positions are. This knobhead on GB News, where is it? Anyway, there's a good meme, by the way, isn't it? Hi, Doc. I'd like to have one of my fingers removed. Clearly, you are mentally unwell. Hi, Doc. I'd like to have my penis removed. You are an inspiration. That's amazing, isn't it? It's mental, the world we've created, isn't it? Which is why I started the channel in the first place, isn't it? I wanted this all on record. So when I'm old and grey, there's a thing of me from decades ago saying, like, I don't think it was a good idea to let 8-year-olds castrate themselves. The mad thing is, I don't think 90% of lefties do. This is the mad thing. I don't want to sound like a wet lefty, but I honestly don't think most of them are that bad. The problem is the chattering classes are enthralled because the activists are the only ones who go to, like, events and town halls and, like, go on the telly and go on Question Time and that, like, because the gatekeepers, the globalist sociopaths that rule the world with an iron fist, because they're the only ones that, like, let them in, the only people they hear from are the full-blown woke activists. So they all pander to them. But, like, honestly, I know loads of people who are Democrats. I don't know any who think big skinheads with tattoos should be in women's prisons or that kids should be able to sterilise themselves. But the left-wing leadership in its entirety proper does. Like, there was a clip of them. In fact, I'll see if I can find that. There was a clip of them, right, on telly, and it was all the leadership from the Democrats. And this Al Franken wanker was having a pop saying, oh, J.D. Vance is just a liar. Here we are, found it. Look at this, right? So this is what I'm talking about all these people are completely enthralled to the left. I know loads of Democrats, they're not total freaks. They don't want to just give free healthcare when they know it's expensive and they all have to work for it. They don't just want to give it to all the foreigners. So this Al Franken here is saying, oh, J.D. Vance is a liar. He's just a liar or he's ignorant when he says the Democrats want to give health benefits to undocumented immigrants. And I was arguing with my missus about this because, again, she's more left-wing than I am. And this is when she pointed out to me, she was like, thought we were arguing because I was saying, they advocate mad stuff. And she was like, yeah, but people don't really want it. And I was like, yeah, but the leadership think the people want it because this is all they hear from. And she was like, nobody in the Democrat side of things just wants to give everyone free healthcare. And I said, exactly, they don't. But this is what your leadership think. And then Dr. Richard Harambe there. And I remember this happening myself. So it's not a doctored thing. It's totally true. This was during the Democratic debate when the Democrats were, going for the nominee. Look at this. This is unedited footage. It went out live. 100 million people saw it. This was their response.
A lot of you have been talking tonight about these government health care plans that you've proposed in one form or another. This is a show of hands question, and hold them up for a moment so people can see. Raise your hand if your government plan would provide coverage for undocumented immigrants. Okay. Let me start with you, Mayor Bootneck.
There you go. Every single one of them to rapturous applause. Look, see, and that's all of them. And this guy, Al Franken's like, oh, J.D. Vance is a liar, claiming that Democrats want to give health benefits to undocumented immigrants. That's all of them. That's every single one of them who went for the presidency. You can see it's a bit blurry, but it's Sanders, Kamala, Biden, Warren, Buttigieg, Swalwell. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 hands go up. So this is on telly in front of everyone. All 10 hands go up. Yeah, we all want free healthcare for undocumented immigrants. So don't tell me that. Does my sound a bit low, is it? Hang on, I'll put it up. Where's my system sound on here? All right, hopefully that's all right. Yeah, so that's mad, isn't it? Absolutely mental. They're completely deranged, and they're all on telly putting their hands up. Yeah, we think everyone illegal. And again, this is what I'm saying about the left over. I don't think 9 out of 10 lefties in England want to see women in men's prisons. Sorry, men in women's prisons. But this is what you get. This because the activist class are just raving lunatics, and they get to set what's good, the standard, don't they? Another, the one I wanted to show you guys that I was talking about with Elon is where's that? This is just they're just absolute planks. Here, look at this here. So this is GB News. This is a proper thick Labour arsehole having a go about Elon. Listen to this.
Yes, you know why Elon Musk terrifies you and you call it disinformation? Because it's speech you cannot control. That's it. You can't control, although you're trying. Listen, with the online safety,
you think he's a Democrat?
You are trying.
Do you think he believes in democracy?
Do you believe in democracy?
Well, obviously I do, but...
How do you believe? Did people vote for the digital ID? Did people vote for the online safety bill? No, you don't believe in democracy. You don't believe in Brexit.
Elon Musk.
You want it over...
You think Elon Musk
is not an elected official. I want the leader of this country to believe in democracy.
Are you a fan of him?
I'm a fan for anyone that protects free speech. Yes, I am a fan of him. He's a genius. Have you thought what he's brought to...
I think he's an idiot. I think he doesn't understand...
He's an idiot.
I don't think he understands our political
Someone who's
system
created
at all.
SpaceX and Tesla is an
blowing
idiot.
up.
Is an idiot.
They keep blowing up.
So that's the bit I want to just focus on, right? But again, it's the arrogance when they're like, how can they know less than a bricklayer or a labourer on a building site? They're no less than us, but they gob off like they know what they're talking about. He arrogantly says there, he's talking about the richest man in the world by a country mile. And again, it sounds like I'm sucking my boss off because I work for him. But I'm not biased. I don't know the bloke personally. Literally just seen him talk in a few conferences. The fact of the matter is, he built 2 companies from the ground up. He's built numerous ones, the Boring Company and other ones. But Tesla have revitalised the electric car industry, sold millions of cars at this point. SpaceX, right, he just goes, they keep blowing up, as if, like, I don't know, SpaceX have only launched like 10 rockets and 9 of them blew up. SpaceX launches, at my site, right, we launch nearly weekly now. In fact, more than that, we broke the record for September. We launched 8 times in a month. Just my team on my site, we launched 8 times successfully in a month. SpaceX have launched hundreds of times in the last couple of years. That's how Starlink is a viable product. All we do is launch all the time, and they all come back. And the only ones that blow up are the test flights for Starship, because that's how you test rockets. You fly them, stick loads of diagnostic equipment on them, fly them, they blow up because it's test flying. And then you go, oh, this went wrong, this went wrong, this went wrong. We'll change all that. We'll see how we got on with the next flight. And then you went from test flight 1, which just blew up, to test flight 5, where we brought the booster back, brought it in, it landed and got caught by gigantic metal chopsticks, Mechzilla. It's absolutely amazing. Like, you see that and you think it's science fiction. In fact, shall we watch it? I'll do some plugging for the richest man in the world, just for a laugh, because it is amazing. And I went to watch Starship launch at Starbase. It's so amazing. It's like science fiction. And this Labour bloke is like, oh yeah, they keep blowing up. Here it is. Look at this. So this is real footage. Let's have a look at this. This is real footage. We flew the world's... It's a flying skyscraper with a payload on. Send it into orbit, come back. It does a flip, returns through the stratosphere, comes back into the Earth on fire, and then makes its way via GPS and guided satellites back to where it took off from in the world. Bear in mind, when it goes outside, it travels around the planet for a bit. And then it comes back, and it's a skyscraper, and they catch it. And this Labour guy goes on TV and goes, oh, he's an idiot. They just keep blowing up. He hasn't got a clue what he's talking about. This is science fiction.
Coming in hot for booster catch. We're going to ignite 13 of those Raptor engines, and this view is incredible right now.
It's a skyscraper hurtling in through the atmosphere at 1,000 miles an hour.
You can see how fast this vehicle is moving on the left-hand screen. Landing burn, ignited. We're now down to 3 Raptor engines. We can see those chopsticks now in the air.
There you go, right? That is a marvel of modern engineering. That is a testament to human ingenuity. And that was the test flight. So that's only the 5th time we'd ever done it. And it came back and we caught it. It's a skyscraper. It's 10 times the size of anything else we've ever flew into orbit. And we've put hundreds of launches into we usually fly Falcon boosters. That's Starship. That only flies out of Texas. I work on Falcons. We do them hundreds of times. The return, it's absolutely amazing. And this Labour twat just like goes, oh yeah, he's an idiot. He doesn't, they keep blowing up. And what I'm saying to you is, which is what I find so staggering, is that they don't know anything. Like, you would think if you were going to go on telly and slag him off, you'd like, I mean, this is going to sound controversial or like hard work, so you can see that, you know, he wouldn't want to like put the effort in. You would think he might go on like Google before he goes on telly and go like, how many lunches has SpaceX successfully completed this year? Like, you'd think he could just do that. Like, what was that? 18 seconds? Like, you'd think you could just like do that before you go on television. But no. And this is again why I tell you, take you back to why we're in the mess that we're in. The reason our leadership are so ignorant, so pig ignorant, thick as shit, don't do the reading, don't do the research, no preparation at all, just go on telly and say, demonstrably idiotic, brain dead, thick as whale spunk, I wouldn't trust you to walk the dog, you'd probably feed it into a wood chipper, you thick twat. Oh, how do you walk a dog? Where do you put this lead thing? What does this do? How do these traffic lights work? That's how thick these people are. But they feel like they can just go on telly and blurt it out because the mainstream media will just cover for them and they'll just go, oh, yeah. If they're wrong, we just won't tell anyone they said it. We'll just cover it up. If they say anything right, if they're like clearly they have the scattergun approach, so they'll spew something out. Fucking grok's useless, isn't it? What do I pay for this shit for? I paid for premium. It's absolutely useless. You type it in, it doesn't tell you shit. All right, we'll just let Google do it. How many launches has SpaceX successfully completed this year? Look, they did the 100th launch of the year in August, and they've achieved 549 successful Falcon 9 launches for the year, along with a successful Starship orbital test flight, bringing the total number of successful missions to 550. So there you go. So that's what I'm talking about. So this bloke goes on telly and goes, oh, he's a moron. He's an idiot. He can just keep blowing up. Yeah. 550. And of the 550, what? 3 have blew up because they were test flights? These people are absolute morons. And now his company's SpaceX is making a roughly $16 billion in revenue this year because of Starlink launches. So Elon Musk is going to be the world's first trillionaire. Like, I guarantee you that. You heard it here first. He is going to be a trillionaire inside 5 years. Like, by 2030, if all of the projections that we've been told come true, Starlink will be providing global communications to about 10% of the population of the planet. The revenue is going to be in the 20, 30, 40 billion dollars a year. Therefore, SpaceX's value is going to triple. His personal wealth will double. He's already worth about 400 billion. Basically, he's probably going to be the world's first trillionaire. We've done 550 successful launches this year, and this bloke happily goes on national television and says, yeah, he's thick, he's an idiot, he doesn't know anything. He's dragged the human species forward on his own. And again, it's not because I'm sucking him off. It's just because I have utter contempt and loathing and hatred for our leaders. Like, you shouldn't be allowed to be that thick and just go on television and talk total bollocks. And it's brilliant, isn't it? Just an absolute plank. So there he is. This is this. Just listen how thick he is.
Anyone that protects free speech. Yes, I am a fan of him. He is a genius. Have you thought what he's brought to...
I think he's an idiot. I think he doesn't understand...
He's an idiot.
I don't think he understands our political
Someone who's
system
created
at all.
SpaceX and Tesla is an
idiot.
Is an idiot.
They keep blowing up. He's wiped millions off the share price of his own
Labour
company.
cabinet member.
They keep blowing up. He's wiped millions off the share price of his own company. Everything he says is factually wrong. Everything he says is factually wrong. So these people are planks. Anyway, I'm not going to keep going on because it sounds like this is the suck off Elon show. But it's preposterous. Everything he says is absolutely ridiculous. All right, let's... oh, look, I was having to go at Al Murray there as well. I'll segue into that because that's interesting. Let me just do these super chats. Matt N7, I can't see that. It just seems to be a star. Sorry, mate. Don't know what that does. Joe, sorry, Mr. Bootneck, will renew membership. Mwah. You don't have to renew your membership, Joe. Thanks for the £5. Steve Wright, tenner, evening, folks, and summit for the Can Bank. Oh, cheers, Mr. Wright. Always like the Can Bank. And he's a Borough fan as well. Bonus points. Richie Wesley, can you launch Starmer in one, please? Yes, of course I can. Anything for the fans. Where is he? I've got so many buttons up here now. Where is he? I'll tell you what, while I'm looking for him, let's do Gordon Brown.
Now, evidently, my cycloptic colleague informs me that that can't be done.
There you go. Here's Keir Starmer.
Gay!
There you go. For some reason, this is on there, and I thought he only uploaded this one, so I could clip it into something else. Do you remember?
You don't know the way.
Yes, I do.
Do you know the way?
I know the way.
You have to have Ebola to know the way.
I have.
That's I don't know. Maybe we can use that one for David Lammy. We can use that one for David Lammy, can we? Oh no, I've already got one for David Lammy. That's this one.
If it feels like neighbourhood policing has vanished, it's not around you. We haven't seen a police while I've been here, and I've been here for a little while now.
You couldn't make that. People thought I'd faked that when they saw that on the channel. Like people who don't furiously watch politics as much as I do. I thought that was fake. That's true, that bad boy. That's how much of an absolute plank he is. And No Chance gifted one Angry Brilliant membership. Grab him while they're hot. Thank you, No Chance. Oh, yeah, No Chance's Oppo's invited me on. I don't know. See, I don't know much about him, the United News Network, but I'm going on. So I'll lay my stall out before my devoted fans, before we go on there, and we'll see if I get the piss ripped out of me by his Oppos. But I'll just fill you guys in. I'm going to go on Tuesday at 8 p.m. UK. And I'll hopefully explain this to him at the time, because one thing I've noticed what's different whenever I've been on anybody else's show, and I guess I'm different to everybody else, is they always like explain stuff before you go on. And I don't know whether it's me being a natural gobshite or the fact that I'm a stereotypical northern man. I'm Ned Stark from Game of Thrones. There's no subterfuge to the Bootneck. There's no Machiavellianism. I've always just said it how I see it, totally honest, and I'll happily just tell you what I think. And that's basically what I'll tell this fella. Like, I don't, I haven't got a dog in the hunt, and I'm not making any aspersions as to his motivations. The fact is, I want to have a bit of crack with him and just say, like, let's put it on the line. I'm a normal northern bloke who, what would you say, my real interest like in military history, but I don't think I'm bad at history. The fact that I've read about so many wars and battles and military books seems to give me a better insight into history than, I don't know, 7 out of 10 people. So I think my history's pretty good. And I know the history of the regulars at the snack bar pretty good. And I know the history of the 4B2s pretty good. And the point I'm making is, and this is why I want to go and talk to him, when No Chance and very, very angry at the 4B2s people say things about them, I'm on board with like 60% of it, coming at it from a normal northern bloke's, worldview. But the ones that stop me is when they blame them for absolutely everything. Because to me, I've never heard a good response to the question, where's the motivation to turn the whole of Europe into Eurabia? Because when that happens, they're dead. Like, that, no one's, like I've told you guys, I'm not really a militant atheist anymore. I'm more of an agnostic. The membership of Rob Granger, get in. Welcome to the club, Rob. You are important now. Basically, I don't, like I've said about the Holy Trinity, I'm not like a militant atheist, and I've got a soft spot for Christianity, but whenever I ask a religious person to explain the Holy Trinity to me, or even to explain why God allows genuinely bad things to happen to genuinely good people, no religious person has ever been able to tell me a good answer. So my whole thing about all of the 4B2 conspiracies is, yes, I think they have no care for us, because all religious groups only care about themselves. And that's what's hamstrung the Europeans, the Anglos especially, but Western Europeans in general, is that we don't do the tribalism thing as much, do we? So, like, I've made this point loads of times. When I was a lad, if I needed my hair cut, I'd go to whichever barber's closest to my house. If I needed a pack of Lambert and Butler, I'd go to the local Puma trackie shop because it was the closest. But the other communities, like all of the different people of colour, doesn't matter whether you're talking about Jamaicans or Puma trackies or 4B2s, they only give the money to their own groups, don't they? So, like, am I out on my sleeve? I hope he knows that there's no subterfuge there, and I'll try and explain this to him. I'm open to any ideas that make sense. But where I stop short of the conspiracies is I don't see what the motivation is. If they know for a fact that when France and Britain and Germany become majority regulars at the snack bar, they will definitely wipe them off the face of the earth because they hate them with a passion that seems to be like all-consuming. I want to know what the theory is. Like, how do you explain that to me? And I've had it out on Facebook, just as the Holy Trinity and the good things to bad people thing never gets answered well by a devout Christian. All of Europe becoming full-blown regulars at the snack bar by a majority, I don't see how that ends well for them. And I've still never heard anyone give me a good answer as to that. So I'm going to go on Tuesday night, we'll have a chat, and we'll see what happens. And I'll take it as it comes. I'm more than happy to hear it. Some good conspiracy theories. I'm on board with anything, because I do think it's obvious that all of the other groups in society seem to not give a shit about anybody else. All the regulars at the snack bar and the 4B2s and the black community in the UK, like, they seem to proper stick together in a way that the Anglos never do. And I think it massively stitches us up, doesn't it? Because, like I said, we don't do it. We don't. I guess I've only started doing it in the last sort of, I don't know, 5-10 years. I've started trying to, like, just look out for my own community more, use local businesses more, like, not go to Akbar's Kebab House when I'm in Borough, you know, go see Dolly in the old Greasy Spoon, who I know Wacker, the owner, that type of thing. Like, obviously, you know, it's Middlesbrough. The bloke who owns the cafe is called Wacker. I don't actually know his real name. Everyone just calls him Wacker. I'd rather give Wacker my money than Packer. That's ironic, yeah. I'd definitely rather give it to Wacker than Puma Tracker. So that's what I've got, like that in my old age. I definitely see the insular attitude of all of the other groups, so I can definitely see why they've got no love for us. But I just fall short of the mad conspiracies, because I don't see how that's in their interest in the long run. Anyway, who else is in? Neil Young, I pissed my missus off because I turned my entire flat into a library. Well, that's good, innit? At the end of the day, people don't read enough. John Platt gifted someone an angry Bootneck. Oh, he's got a pint of Smithwick's there as well. I do miss the beer back home. Miss it like an old dead relative. British beer, Irish beer, proper beer, basically. I miss it. Miss it like an old dead relative. So, yeah, we'll see what happens there. That'll be interesting. Al Murray I mentioned, right, because he's woke. And again, chippy northern conspiracy. Why, when Bernard Manning and Chubby Brown are, or were, in Bernard's case, 10 times funnier than the likes of Al Murray and Jason Mansford, why do Al Murray and Jason Mansford get put on the BBC and turned into superstars and put on television all the time, but Chubby Brown and Bernard Manning get pariahs that don't let them go to the shows? But Chubby Brown goes to put a show on in a town hall, just a shitty little town hall. They're not putting him on the TV or the radio. And they're trying to stop it from happening. The only people who want to go and watch them are people like me, because we like them and they have authentic working class comedy. And they don't promote them. Chubby Brown should be 10 times more famous than Al Murray. Al Murray is a typical unfunny Cockney wide boy, and he gets promoted by the mainstream media. Do you know why? Because Al Murray promotes the war in Ukraine, promotes all the stuff the 4B2 says, talks out to both sides of his face. 1 minute he's pro-Palestine, next minute he's pro-Israel. Just another typical wet southern knobhead. And for some reason, they put him in everyone's front room. The fact that Al Murray is a more household name than Chubby Brown or Bernard Manning proves that there is like these wankers pulling the strings behind the scenes in there. And that's what I said to him there. He's like, oh, what a depressing, shocking couple of days. And I thought, you helped cause it, knobhead. These people imported millions of geezers that absolutely hate them. And then they wonder why they kill them. The Puma trackies, this is what I'm talking about. Right, listen. I have never met, and I know some reasonable Puma trackies, right? There's a big amount of them in Borough. They all live off Abba Dabba Ding Dong. It's called Abingdon Road. Everybody calls it Abba Dabba Ding Dong Road because that's where every single one of them lives. I know a few, but even the sound ones that were born and raised in Borough and don't practice, don't go to the big Golden Bell End church, sound, drink pints, watch the Borough. Even they all hate the 4B2s. Even the sound ones, like, you'll be having one of my mates, a guy, he's called Shabs. He was drinking at my brother's house at a barbecue. And obviously there's not loads of them, but couple, so I know a few. He was the only one there, but I started chatting to him. He was all right, having a pint, like normal-ish for a foreigner that was born and raised in England. But as soon as I brought up 9/11, like, because he started being conspiratorial, he was like, oh yeah, it was definitely the 4B2s. And I was like, you're mad, you lot, aren't you? I said, like, the ones that are practicing are like overtly hostile to them virulently all the time. But even the ones that aren't practicing and that have been anglicised, even they hate them. Like, it is a proper tribal, third world tribalism, ancestral hatred. Like, genuinely, 98% of them despise the 4B2s. They despise them with every fibre of the being. You know it, I know it, but the powers that be, lunatics that they are, can't admit it, which is why people like me go from left to centre to right wing, because only one group seems to be willing to face the mirror and look at reality as it is. and that's the problem. Like, we know what's going to happen because we face the mirror and look at reality. I've got no animus against anyone. I've not even, as I said, I've not really got an animus towards the Puma trackies because some of them are all right. But even the ones that are all right definitely hate the 4B2s. So we're in this quandary because the raving lunatics that run the world can't bring themselves, haven't got the courage to face the world as it actually is. Any working class bloke could tell you. I mean, think about it. It almost sounds daft that I'm saying this because it's all the way through their big book of desert fables. Sorry, from now on, I will always refer to it as Game of Thrones Bradford, because that is an amazing term for it. Someone put it in my comments. I didn't make that one up. It's all the way through Game of Thrones Bradford. If you read Game of Thrones Bradford, I read a English translation of it when I was in Afghanistan. Know Your Enemy, Bootneck's Thinking Man Soldier. This is why I can turn the lefties in knots on this shit. I've read about the Hadiths. I read the English translation of Game of Thrones Bradford, and I read the politically correct guide to Alan Snack Bar. I read The Bear That Went Over the Mountain, which was a massive book all about the Soviets fighting the Mujahideen and all about them. And the big book of desert fictions, Game of Thrones Bradford, is just a book of war. There's loads of good stuff in there, but there's loads of death and war. And there's stuff in there that says, like, even nature hates them. And if you go to war with them, the stones themselves will cry out, hey, Mr. Believer in the true God, the 4x2 is hiding behind this stone. You must go and hurt them. It's like right there in black and white. So plumbers, bricklayers, window cleaners, bus drivers, we know what's going to happen when you send 5 million regulars at the snack bar into Europe We know for a 100% fact what's going to happen. And what's going to happen is the lads at the snack bar are going to hurt the 4x2s and they're going to hate each other virulently, as they have done for over 1,000 years, ever since the pot-bellied epileptic midget warlord came up with, wrote Big Book of Desert Fables / Game of Thrones Bradford. And that's all they're going to do. And somehow, the ludicrously juvenile do-gooder optimists that run the world think, no. It'll be fine. They might have been fighting each other for 1,600 years. But I'm Tony Blair. I'm hot shit, baby. I'm Zara Sultana. We can bring 27 million rabidly anti-Semitic, violent third world men in. But they're not dealing with Angela Merkel, baby. I can go on TV and I can give speeches. And everyone will listen to the speech. And all these recent arrivals will go, you know what? This relatively recent, soon-to-be voted out, trifling politician who's probably only going to be in the public eye for about 2 years, they're definitely more charismatic and knowledgeable and likeable and wise than the bloke who wrote the Big Book of Desert Fables that's been translated into 800, not that many, 90 languages and has been read all around the world and has 3 billion devoted followers. You've talked me into it, Angela. You've talked me into it, Zara. I'll tell you what, Sir Keir Starmer, use the full name, one moment, please.
Gay!
Tell you what, you've done such a good job and you've given such a good speech. I'm going to go nosh. I'm going to go and give a 4b2 a gobble. Well done. Yeah, last week I had 4 wives and read my Big Book of Fables 5 times a day and prayed and went to the Bell End Church every Friday for prayers. But you know what? The relatively recent Home Secretary, Zara Peanuthead, has just came in. So you know what? If I've changed my mind, I'm going to go and give a 60-second gobble to my local... I don't even remember what's their. I don't know why that one. Rabbi. I was going to say, what's their holy preacher called? Why is that slipping? Why has that gone off my memory? Yeah, I'm going to go and nosh off my local rabbi. Yeah, I'm from 40 generations of warlords from a Bronze Age theocracy, but this person who's been in office in Europe for 4 months has just gave a speech. So I'll tell you what, I'll gobble off a rabbi. Yeah. I'll definitely. And your orthodox 4b2 with the big curly sidebars and a daft hat on. Oh, so I've just listened to a great speech by David Cameron. So I'm just going to go and ski 2 imams for a laugh. I'm just going to do that. Yeah, and we're all going to lube up and get naked and daisy chain around the world in a massive kumbaya. Yeah, that makes loads of sense, that, doesn't it? Absolutely crazy. So this is why we're in the mess we're in. Because of endless, ludicrous, juvenile idealism. And the irony is, the people they call thick, use thick in it. Brexit voters is thick in it. The proper condescending. It's another reason I despise them. I'm not a stupid man. I don't think I'm a genius, but I'm not a stupid man. I do my reading. I at least try to be an intellectual. I never talk about something I don't know something about. I don't go on TV and go, he blows all his rockets up when he's done 500 successful launches. I don't do that. So I'm at least cleverer than that, silly bastard. But I don't think I'm a genius. I at least try. And I could have saw it coming 100 miles away. You could have saw it coming. Your average, local, mid-wit window cleaner doesn't really care about politics, doesn't really get into, doesn't do philosophy, doesn't like to get into it, just likes to go to the pub and watch the football and live his life and have his hobby, plays football on a Sunday. That guy is 10 times better at foreign policy and geopolitics than the people that are doing it. Because the people that are doing it are deluded, deranged, mentally ill wokists following a bizarre globalist ideology that doesn't make any sense at all. And that's why we're knackered. All right? Easy. Crikey, loads of members getting gifted here. Grab them. Thanks, Platty. Joe's done one. Thanks very much, Joe. Richie Mint 71 joined up. Well done, Richie. Calbert and I tried to answer your question, but YouTube told me I had to edit it. I'm sure they did. Well, hopefully Unity News can answer my question on Tuesday, because I'm going to go and talk to him. So why don't you tune into that, and then you can ask your question there, and you might, or he'd probably agree with you, won't he? Dermot Jones has joined up as well. Well, and Dermot. Stu, most of the lads at a snack bar I met in prison cheated round. Oh, I'm sure they did. You're not going to turn down free scran in jail, are you? I mean, I've got low standards, but I think even I wouldn't enjoy the food in the nick. And Pen 10 became a member as well. Well done, Pen 10. Thanks for all the memberships. Like I said, it does help. It does help. It seems like the only thing that genuinely does help is giving YouTube more money. Funny old thing. Money makes the world go around. But I only started getting views when people started joining. Again, I sort of hamstrung myself because I said I'm not doing it for money. And then I spent 3.5 years without having a membership plan or anything open like that. And it seems like they stifled me the whole time. One thing that irritates me, though, is how much they mess with your numbers when you talk about something they don't like. Like, it proper does piss me off. Like, there's like a period of time there where every video got like 40, 20, 30. I think the lowest one I had for about a month was like 25,000. And then this week, they do an attack on them on a synagogue. And I make a video about it and no one sees it. Now I've got more subs than I've ever had. And it got less views. It didn't even break 15k, that Southport attack one. So clearly, the creatures in Silicon Valley still don't want you talking about it, do they? Don't want you talking about the paymasters. Because they're just creatures. But at least I outlived Suzar, so it's not all bad news. Hector Kane has become a YouTube member as well. Get in. Thanks, team. I'm loving that. Hopefully I'll get more eyes on my work moving forward. What else did I want to talk about today? There was a lot of good stuff on Twitter. Oh, yeah, here's one. John Cleese. Right. Did anybody see the exceptionally well-written letter that J.K. Rowling left for Emma Watson? Because that was really, really good. As you might imagine, probably a bad idea to pick an argument with a writer as good as J.K. Rowling. And she is a good writer. Definitely is. I know some of you lot, people are just argumentative, right? Some of you wankers, just because you don't like the art, you claim the art is terrible. I don't know how many of you lot have slagged off Oasis, my favourite band, because I was 13 when Definitely Maybe came out. So I won't slag off Oasis. I went to see them in the Rose Bowl. Superb. They are my favourite band. They always will be. Loads of you lot, because you're boomers, are like, oh, the shit, the talentless Beatles rip-off, whatever. But you can say many things about them, but you can't say the talentless. You know what I mean? Like, they make original music that millions of people like. They're not talentless. It's fine if you don't like them, but you're not talentless, are you? And J.K. Rowling can write. Just because she's a lefty wanker, you can't tell me she can't write. I didn't read Harry Potter because I'm a grown man. I'm not going to read Harry Potter. But I did read The Cuckoo's Calling and all the subsequent Shrike novels because I love crime fiction. And I thought, that's good, because I do feel like I should read J.K. Rowling, but I'm obviously not going to read Harry Potter. So I read them, and there were good books. J.K. Rowling can write. You can slag her off, but she can write. Maybe it's a bit juvenile, Harry Potter, but she can definitely write. The one thing I did notice, and this is a fascinating thing to learn, if you don't know this, when she first released the Shrike novels, because she wrote them under the pseudonym Robert Galbraith, and they didn't leak it for about a year, and I suspect they leaked it because then the sales exploded, but they didn't leak it for about a year. And when I read it, I did think you could tell it was written by a woman, because you can tell, if you read a lot, I feel like you can tell when it's a woman writing, because we're different, because of biology. She wrote really flowery, extravagant sentences, paragraphs about when they go to the clothes shop, he goes to buy Robin a dress. And she writes all this very eloquent prose about the wonderful emerald dress that sort of creeps across the floor like a like a meadow, I don't know, meandering into the sunlight or something. Like, she's really, really good. And but I could tell it was a woman. And in the same way, Robin Hobb, if there's any fantasy nerds like me in the chat, I've read thousands of fantasy books. Robin Hobb was hailed as this fantastic female fantasy author because a lot of, obviously, the vast majority of men write fantasy books. All the greats, like Tolkien, George R. R. Martin, Brandon Sanderson, and all the top ones are blokes. So a lot of people went on about Robin Hobb saying, "Oh, she's really, really good. She wrote the Assassin's Apprentice series." There's like 6 of them I read. But you could tell it was a woman. Like, they do a lot more emotion and a lot. They're just the better at emotion, but the way shitter at scraps. Like, typical. Again, I think humans aren't very complicated, and that you can tell. Like, David Gemmell is terrible at like really emotional prose, but his fights are amazing. He just writes absolutely class scraps. And that's what you'd expect from men and women, isn't it? The women are dead good at writing like flowery emotional shit, and the blokes are good at writing chew. David Gemmell's chew's amazing. He's like, Argurios planted his feet and smashed his fist in this guy's face. It's like, oh yeah, I love this stuff. Anyway, sorry, rambling a bit. Back to the story. So J.K. Rowling, clearly an excellent writer, and she wrote this big long piece in response to Emma Watson, because Emma Watson is a woke, shit-for-brain split arse who started gobbing off about J.K. Rowling because she's brain dead and she believes all of this shite about being, you loathe the trans community simply because you don't want big hairy-ass blokes to be in birds' prisons. And J.K. Rowling tore it a bit and said, Emma has only ever known fame and wealth. And the reason I mentioned Emma Watson is because this post off John Cleese made me think the exact same thing. John Cleese, I like John Cleese. Seems a funny bloke. Seems like he wears his heart on his sleeve. And he sometimes is on my side of the argument, like he was on Brexit, wasn't he? He was like, if the majority of people want to leave, then we've got to leave. It's not that complicated. But he is kind of woke because he's been in that industry. And this is what I said to him. I said, John, I do like you, but you've been in this game for decades and you've got no knowledge about like normal life for normal people, have you? And that's my argument. Like, they don't know anything. They don't know anything. John Cleese was pretty posh when he started in the whole Monty Python thing because he went like Cambridge, didn't he? The Oxbridge twat. And then, again, Monty Python's hilarious. I think Sargon always slags off Monty Python. Totally disagree with him. The weird thing is he's like my age. We're old enough to get Monty Python. Like, anyone who doesn't think Life of Brian is a masterpiece doesn't know anything. Like, I think he's a bit of an idiot. Life of Brian is a masterpiece. Holy Grail's, like, good, but not as good as Life of Brian. And their sketch show, The Flying Circus, is funny. Some of them are dead good. But, like, how he doesn't get it is beyond me. Anyway, not want to get into the merits of Monty Python. What I'm saying is, as much as I like John Cleese, he's in the same place, isn't he? Rich, famous, woke actors and entertainers cannot possibly understand the mindset of the working classes, because anyone who doesn't realise that mass migration completely annihilated our communities is an idiot. Is just an idiot. Like, there's no polite way of saying it. They haven't got a Scooby-Doo. It destroyed our communities. And that's why I've got more and more right-wing. Like, it wrecked them forever. And I don't get emotional about much. But if my heartstrings ever get slightly tweaked, it's about the fact that I feel like my nephews and my friends' kids and all the young people who I have any affection for will not get to grow up in the England that I did, because my childhood, even though it was in Middlesbrough, yeah. So yeah, probably seen a few prozzies wanking sailors off, shitting behind wheelie bins, but it wasn't that bad. Okay, and this is what I'm getting at. I get sad about it. Not despair, because I'm an angry man with a stiff upper lip, but I do get sad about it because they'll never get that. And when I think back to how good my childhood was, it was idyllic, like the whole time. I always tell the stories from when I was a bairn, like, remember being a little kid, drinking out my Peter Rabbit mug, watching the telly, watching Watership Down when I was about 5. I remember my dad reading me Tubby Tin Can when I was about 4. I remember getting lost in Stokesley when I was a bairn because my mum walked off into boys and then I was crying my eyes out in the middle of the street. I was like 4. And then like every single random person I ever met came over to see me and was like, oh, and like was good to me. Like my entire childhood, from the age of about 0 to 18, I never met a person who was a prick to me. When I was a bairn, the amount of times I was a bairn and someone just did me a kindness, I can't even remember the amount of times. I go to the fair and just people just give me, random people would give me food or buy me an ice cream or give me £1 for the amusements when I was at Redcar. Everything about my childhood was idyllic because it was a high trust society and everybody knew each other. If you got lost, people would do you a favour. If you were out on your own at night, nobody used to worry about you. There was this wonderful innocence about the 80s. And that's gone forever. And the only people who don't miss it are too stupid and naive to have ever realised that it's gone. If you live in Islington, you probably don't realise it's gone forever because everyone you meet's posh and middle class and they're all nice people. They are, aren't they? They are. And maybe I'm going to disagree with the very, very, very chippy amongst you. I'm pretty chewy. I just haven't got a boulder on both shoulders. I won't call the middle class assholes bad people. I'll just call them ignorant because the people who'll stab you, pinch your wallet, shit on your front lawn, they're never middle class. It's not the Guardian readers who'll finger your kids. It's not the Guardian readers who'll pinch your wallet, headbutt you in the face, do all the horrible, scruffy shit. That's the chavs. The chavs have always been bad, but they were mercifully few. Or the foreign third world men who get dragged up. And this is the point. The middle age, the middle class people are all right people. They'll never rob you, finger you, do all the really dodgy stuff. And they don't realise that it's gone because if you live in a really posh area, you can leave your doors unlocked. But in the 80s, you could do it in the poor areas. And that's the difference. That's why it's totally knackered now. Because, yeah, if you're super posh and rich now, you can still probably leave your door open. Because all your neighbours are posh and they're not interested in pinching your telly. But the poor, their lives have been irrevocably changed. To just totally ruined. Because in 1984... I could play out in my relatively normal Middlesbrough street and never have to worry about anything. And everyone I met was good to me. And everyone I met did me a favour. And nice people used to always turn up and do you a favour. You could go in like random people's houses in my street. It's like, if you got up early, just walk into another kid's house looking for them. And then the mum comes downstairs and sees you sat in the front room watching their telly. And that's normal. And they go, oh, Matthew's here again. There was a nice old couple around the corner. I remember Mary, she was called. Mary and Eric. Don't know what the surnames were. I think the daughter was like 6 years older than me. And my brother's 4. So there was a time when my brother and her used to play together a bit. But I never really spent any time with any of them. But because of that, I just knew them. And when I was like 7, if I was like bored and had nothing to do, I used to just go around Mary and Eric's house. I used to just knock on the door or walk in and they'd go, oh, Matthew's here. And there were Geordies, I remember. It was weird, kind of weird, proper Geordies living down in the borough. And I used to go in the kitchen and I always remember she used to say, do you want a float? And she'd make me a lemonade or Coke float where you put lemonade or Coke and then a bit of blob of ice cream in the top. And she used to say, do you want a wiggly straw? Because she had a big wiggly straw that I used to like. And I used to go, yeah. And she'd make me one. And I used to sit in the back garden or in the front room with this nice Geordie couple who I don't ever remember my mum or dad spending any time with. And I used to just do it. And it was mint. Ice cream and pop. Hi, Geordie. Yeah, they were Geordies. I think that was the first time I ever had a pop and ice cream float was around their house. I used to just rock up round their house when I was 6, bimbling round the estate. I used to mooch around on my bike, loving life, going in random people's houses. It was hoofing, and I loved it. And that's gone forever now, hasn't it? Gone forever. If you're in a council estate in Middlesbrough now, you're locking the doors, locking the windows, bolting your gates, and praying that you can let your kid in your own locked back garden with a locked fence, and they'll get through the day without a Somalian jumping over the window and trying to horse one into him. This is the world we've created. And these daft middle and upper class twats have wrecked it forever. And it's gone, and it's not coming back. So that should make you angry. It should make you very, very, very angry. Oh yeah, and the cherry on top is they've imported foreign tribal warfare. So now you get Hindus versus Sikhs versus 4B2s versus snack bar boys murdering each other in the streets, blowing shit up. Emily Jones killed by an Albanian, Lee Rigby killed by an African, Manchester Evening News bombing, Libyan, Southport, Rwandan. How is this good? And then you say what I've just said, and I like to think that was quite a long little screed about it. You know, by default, just because I talk a lot, I've laid the groundwork for it to be, at least hopefully, if one day in the long distant future, someone discovers the video and watches it, they'll go, oh yeah, he wasn't just filled with virulent hatred for foreigners. He was coming from somewhere, he was a somewhere, lamenting a past that's gone forever. I don't hate anyone. I understand why poor third world men want to come to Britain. My attitude was always that a realistic approach by sensible working class people who are grounded in pragmatism and reality would have been, you know what? Let's just let 30,000 a year in and disperse them across the country from 1990 to 2030 and slowly try to drag them up and slowly introduce good and joy to the world. And we can trickle them in like that so we can educate them properly, and we can introduce Mati Nungwank Borton Umbutu Umbwetu and Akbari Jafar to The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings and Watership Down and Beatrix Potter and Sesame Street and all the things that I had in my childhood, and nice one, and they'll slowly influence their diaspora, and maybe we'll get something good in the world in the future. That was my opinion when I was like centre-left liberal in like 1999. And what did they do? They went, that's a shit plan. Here's what we'll do. We'll let 80 million of them in. Vdumph. Straight into Western Europe. Roger your kids. Blow shit up. Murder each other in the streets. Hindu versus Sikh versus 4B2 versus snack bar. Brilliant. We'll have exploding buses, trains, endemic grooming gang, kiddie fiddling, mass murder, decapitations, little girls getting their throats cut. It's going to be mint. We'll have Albanian gangsters in London, and we'll have Turkish mafia in Manchester, and we'll have the streets awash with cocaine and blood and suicide bombing and female genital mutilation and acid in the face because you wouldn't give me your phone number. We'll have all of that, and it's going to be mint. Get in. So there you go. There's like a 15-minute screed. Someone can clip that. Next time someone who is a Guardian reading left-wing, walkie-talkie, ignorant, shit for brains, pragmatist. Right, next time one of these people has a pop and says you're all just bigots, send them that last 15 minutes. Because I think that inadvertently sums up where we were, where we could have went, and where we are. And there's no hatred, there's no prejudice, there's no bigotry. I genuinely think my version of events would have enriched the lives of millions. Only probably if we let in 30,000 a year from 99 to now, we'd have probably only let in about 600,000 people or so, maybe a bit less. That's probably too many. Let's say 25k a year. We'd have enriched 300,000 people, but then they would have influenced millions, and they would have sent money abroad and the diaspora, and the ideas would have spread, and maybe one or two of them would have threw a copy of The Hobbit into the friends of their Nigerian cousin on the continent of Africa, and maybe would have somehow helped the world in some way. But instead, we got what we got, because ruthless pragmatism grounded in stoicism and reality and actually what we can achieve with our powers, they've all gone out the window, because apparently I'm a wanker. What we got was what I've just described. Total chaos. Total chaos. The world's wrecked. Carl Burton, Susan's tribal. He definitely is. No more. Sent us a super sticker. Cheers for that. Ragnar, I'm assuming we're still talking about Susan. Oh, yeah. Clearly, she's bought and paid for, isn't she? Ben Dyke said he demands a pride parade in Mecca. That is not happening, Benjamin. I hope you listened to that last 10, 15 minutes there, because that explains my worldview. I'm not mega right wing. I'm a realist, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't think it's unreasonable. I don't think anything I said there was out of order. But here we are. Your special Galactic Underground post is coming on. Nice one. I love Underground post. So unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, the fantastic childhood, the fantastic England of my youth, of the 80s, is gone forever. They've stolen it from us. The globalist sociopaths have ruined the world. We could have had, it was fantastic. Educated people in countries like Egypt saw the UK as a beacon of light, a shining city on a hill, and they ruined it forever, on purpose, out of spite, for whatever demonic globalist sociopath reasons they decided upon. So there you go. Gone, but not, that's true. That is true. Gone, but not forgotten. At least we can lament about it and sing some old battle hymns when it massively kicks off and it's time to physically throw these wankers out. All right? That's me, ladies and gentlemen. 1 hour and 3 minutes. You can have that for now, you twats. I hope you have a good weekend. Keep your chins up. Collectively, it's only a bit of crack in it. At the end of the day, it'll get worse, but then it'll get better. We just have to tough it out, boys and girls. Tool yourselves up. I saw you can legally buy some sort of 7-shot repeating crossbow in the UK. I suggest you buy one because it's going to boot off. I guarantee you that. All right, thanks for tuning in. I'm going for a drink. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'll see you all Tuesday night, I guess. All right, take it easy. Thanks for tuning in. Toodle pip. Cheers.